everybody. Welcome to Jesse Green Live, our first podcast of 2025. It's 5:36 in the morning. Can you believe I got Mike Nolan up after New Year's Eve at 5:36 in the morning?
It is quite the feat. Normally, in years past, I've partied pretty hard on New Year's Eve, and this year, we went out to Havana last night. We had a blast, obviously, but I called it a night pretty early. I was in bed by 12:30. So,
oh wow! Yeah. I think that's a function of getting old, Mike.
It really, I can't do it like I used to. You know?
Oh no. Mm-hmm. I went out last night up to Trigger's Table and Tap Room, the old 633.
Yeah.
A friend of ours was playing up there, and I had a good time.
Yeah.
Had a good crowd, and but I left a little after midnight too. You know, it's kind of like. You're watching.
Uh-huh.
It's only 11:30. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's get this ball dropped and get the hell into 2025.
I was about to say 3 years ago you wouldn't see me leave that building that early.
Oh no,
You've been there
way.
late.
Oh, I guarantee you, I'd have been one of the last ones out of there.
Yeah,
but I want to introduce my guest. I mentioned his name, Mike Nolan. Mike Nolan is the owner of Voltage Wrestling, and 6, 8, 10 days a year, we hate each other.
Yeah, that's about right.
My character, Captain Decapitate, I can't stand this freaking guy.
Can't stand me.
You know?
Can't stand me.
He always tries to shortchange anything I'm trying to do in Voltage Wrestling.
Jesse.
And I get 2 steps forward and he knocks me 5 steps back.
You know.
But Beastman is coming back.
Beastman's coming back January 10th.
January 10th.
That's what you've told me. That's what you've told me.
Well, you're letting him come back.
I
wanted to bring him back to the last show, and you're like, nah, I don't think so. I don't have any competition for him.
No, we've got competition. We got the competition this time around. He will be against a top tier talent, Cooper Housley.
When do we get a shot at the Neon guy?
The Neon guy? Well, we'll see after you beat Cooper House.
Okay,
we'll see if you can. If you get past Cooper House.
Oh, well, that's a gimme.
I don't know if that's a gimme.
I don't know this Cooper.
That's the power slap guy.
I don't know this Cooper Hensley, Cooper House.
Well, that's the power slap guy. He's
Cooper.
He's a big deal. He's the number 8 ranked heavyweight in power slap, I believe.
Well, I bet you, because I know if he's the power slap guy, he's going to try and slap Beastman.
Yep.
Let's take wagers on whether Beastman goes down. I bet you Beastman just goes.
We'll see what the Vegas odds are on that.
Okay.
We'll see what the
We'll
Vegas
check it out,
are.
but that'll be good.
It'll be great. It's going to be a great event.
So you did say if we beat him, our next match is Neon guy.
You'll be in the conversation for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
You heard that here. You can't back out on it now.
Right.
You heard that here.
Yeah.
So that's January.
That is January 10th. It is at Vanish Hall in Boonesboro, Maryland. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, you've got 10 days to do so. Get your tickets at www.voltagewrestling.com.
And if you put the code word captain in there, you get
20% off.
20% off.
20%
Whoa! He's getting generous in his old age.
Yeah, I'm going crazy. I'm just getting generous. I'm giving these tickets away almost. I mean, you're getting a great card of action. Ricardo Rodriguez is going to be there from WWE. We've got Rhett Titus on the card. We've got the Red Prince, TJ Sykes, the Neon Ninja Facade. If you haven't seen them, you definitely want to make your way out, check them out. But we hope everyone's there.
The Neon guy.
The Neon guy. You call him Neon guy. His name's Facade.
Oh, is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Is his girlfriend or whatever, Danny, going to be there?
Well, yeah, she is in action against Journey Burke Esquire, because she is a lawyer.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't think you get better than Brett Baker being a real dentist.
Yeah, I mean, it takes all kinds of people to make professional.
Oh, it does.
So,
it does. Well,
a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people don't know. It's like you get a lot of people from like the executive world that come in to do professional wrestling. I was telling a story this weekend. We once had a guy that was like a diplomat that came over and was a professional wrestler. I've met dentists, lawyers, doctors, engineers from NASA. Like myself, I was a broadcast engineer for the Discovery Channel at one point in time. I'm involved in wrestling.
The one guy, local guy, he's an attorney. Man, I can't pull the name up. I haven't seen him in a while.
Are you talking about CEO?
CEO.
Yeah.
He's an attorney.
Yeah. Yeah, CEO's an attorney, and he's involved in our wacky world as well. It takes all kinds of people.
And I think he's been involved in wrestling quite a few years now.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, he's been involved for a bit, probably 5 or 6 years, if I'm not mistaken. Probably a lot longer. But yeah, I've known him for 5 or 6 years.
Okay, yeah, he's a cool guy. Okay, so we got that, Mike. We got that, and it's going to be at Vantage Hall.
Yes, Vantage Hall.
If you haven't ever been there for any concert, anything, you need to come see Voltage Wrestling just for that. It's probably one of the best venues I've worked in.
Yeah, as far as venues go, I can tell if you're a wrestling fan out there watching this, this is one of the nicest venues you're ever going to step foot in. This venue, stadium-style seating the whole way around the place.
Yeah.
VIP seatings, a place where you can comfortably, eat a dinner, watch a wrestling match, without, it's not like your typical stadium, where you're crammed in there like sardines.
Nice seating and
you've got some spacious seating. You get to sit there, eat some dinner, enjoy a wrestling match, and every seat is a good seat. There's not a bad seat in the place. It's kind of like going to Camden Yards or something. There's not a bad seat in the house.
Yeah.
So.
And the people that run that are great. Never had a bad experience here.
No, the food is phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that's one thing I heard a lot of people say. From people, like you can get anything from a burger to a steak to crab cakes, you name it.
Yeah, JP won't. He owes me a dinner.
Oh, he owes you a dinner.
He won't let me get the $50 or $100 steak dinner. $50 steak dinner.
Yeah, I know. Buff Bagwell. The last time we were there, he had 2 steaks.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he had. He devoured 2 steaks and I think there's like a peanut butter pie of some sort. I remember him going back to the airport and just telling me how phenomenal the food was. So it's definitely
it's great.
Definitely a place. It's definitely a place you want to go out. Get dinner before, enjoy the wrestling, grab a couple of beers on a Friday night. It's going to be a great way to start your new year.
Yeah, and it's on Old National Pike. I forget the exact
It's
number.
7704 Old National Pike, and all your information is at voltagewrestling.com.
So, get out of Hagerstown and head down toward Boonesboro. If you go into Funkstown and take 40 down, it's before you get into Boonesboro. It's the old livestock auction place. Mm-hmm. And they've done a good job there
They really have.
with Vantage Hall and branded Chop House.
They have.
Chop House.
No, it's a phenomenal place all around.
And they're going to add more.
The restaurant and the venue, just a phenomenal place.
There's going to eventually be an El Forno pizza there, and so they're going to add a lot there. And besides Voltage Wrestling, this guy, if you ever been, this was the first year, right, for the Flying Boxcars?
Yeah, this is the first year, and
If you went to a game for the Flying Boxcars, you heard this guy's voice. He is the voice of Meredith Park.
Yes,
you're not gonna be there for the.
I'm not going to be there for the. I'm not going to be there for the donut drop. But when the season starts back up, I will be back in the booth as the public address announcer. In addition to being all over town when I'm not there, doing karaoke. Running the karaoke business. But I'll be back in the booth this year for all of the games as the PA announcer. Looking forward to it. Last year was awesome seeing everybody come out, obviously. Just a hell of a turnout for a first year baseball team. Not the record that we wanted out of the baseball team, but when you're averaging almost 2,000 fans a game, and some of these nights, I mean, we had 4,000 to 5,000 fans on some of these weekend nights with fireworks and the Star Wars nights, the wrestling night.
That's going to happen again.
I know you remember that. You got knocked over by
the freaking mascot.
Yeah, you got knocked over by one of the Central City Liquors mascots.
Yeah. I wasn't happy about that.
Yeah.
You don't touch Captain Decapitate.
Well, yeah, they ran through you. It was like a linebacker.
And I wasn't.
You did a whole roll on the field.
Yeah, I was at the finish line just waving the flag, and I think it was a she,
Yeah.
just came barreling into me.
Yeah, Ellie
She
the
could've-
elephant got you, didn't she?
The elephant,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was the elephant. I knew it was.
I wasn't happy about that, so you might speak to management that can't happen again.
Yeah, we'll make sure that we have their people contact your.
Because I'm going to be ready this time. If I see Elle the elephant
Yeah.
coming, I'm going to clothesline her.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're gonna do that?
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Well,
Hey, I owe it to her.
you're gonna give her the receipt, huh?
And I got a beef against, what's the mascot's name?
The mascot. What? You got a beef against the striker?
Yeah.
What's wrong with striker?
Because he came over into our territory, the wrestling ring territory. He came over there and started flexing and all that shit. And I took offense to it and went over and tried to stop him. And he put me in some kind of hole,
He put
about
you in-
broke my freaking back.
Yeah, it was that
Yeah.
you on that video with where you got put in the crossface
Yeah.
kick ring.
And he didn't take it easy. He was
Oh, no.
he was like he was trying out to be a professional
Well,
wrestler.
you never know. Next year you might see Stryker in a professional wrestling ring. You know, he's training,
Oh.
saying his prayers and eating his vitamins, and
Is he?
Well, yeah, that's what I heard. That's what I heard. I'm just telling
I
you
want
the
to be
rumors
the
that I heard.
manager on the other side because I assume he's going to be a face.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean,
Okay.
everybody loves Stryker. So
I don't.
Well,
Tell him
you're
I
the
don't.
only person.
Tell him I
You're
don't.
the only person in Hagerstown that does not like Stryker.
I was like, please, no, let go, and it just made it tighter and tighter, you know?
Yeah. No, but yeah, professional wrestling. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. So so I don't like Stryker. I don't like L the elephant.
Yeah. You don't like the
I
elephant?
don't like the elephant either.
You just got a list of enemies, don't you?
I do.
It's tough being.
And
around.
you're on that list too.
I'm on that list.
Yeah.
Well, not today though.
Not today. No.
Not today. No, we're friends today.
In 10 days.
In 10 days, I'm back on the list.
You're back on the big time.
That hurts right here.
You move right
Right
to the
feelings.
you move right to the top of the list.
Right to the top of the list.
Yeah, right to
Wow.
the top of the list. You're above Stryker and LC the cow or
Wow.
no the L.
Enough.
Okay, enough.
Enough
okay,
about your
my,
list.
Okay, I'll get off my.
I know you
get
got
off
some
my-
questions for me. I
Yeah,
wouldn't be here.
right. So, how did you get into professional wrestling? How long you been in it? Did you just walk into it a year ago? or
I think
2
this is
years
my
ago?
22nd year.
Wow.
I started in 2003. I trained under a guy named the Mighty Biggs. There's two other wrestlers. There's this guy Jack Hammer, and there's this other guy named Spasmir Brian Anthony who had wrestled in Hagerstown for a number of years. I trained under them for a bit, about a year, and then kind of went out on my own. Ended up at the House of Pain, and that's kind of how I got started. I had a friend that invited me to that school. Like the backyard wrestling back in the day was like a big craze. Like all the kids were doing it before they eventually went professional. So I had a friend by the name of Dan Harris that he called me one afternoon. He was like, "Man, they're training wrestlers for $200 up at Greencastle, that's a steal for training. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
also you get what you pay for.
Oh yeah,
So,
true.
Yeah, you get what you pay for. So I'm not saying they were bad trainers or anything, but it's just like you got
It
fast.
just
track.
wasn't top tier.
No, it wasn't top tier training. They weren't bad trainers. It's like I learned how to be safe in a professional wrestling ring, and that's all they were obligated to teach me. So like Dan invites me up, and I'm thinking, man, I'm getting a hell of a deal, $200, and then my first day I threw up in the ring. Yeah, they run me off the ropes like 10 times. I wasn't prepared for it, so the next time I came back and was a little bit more prepared, and I just stuck around for another 22 years. So here we are. Here we are.
When I took my training, I was always amazed how many guys would show up, big, bulky, athletic guys,
Yeah.
and just get blown up
Yeah, because
so quick.
being in shape and being in ring shape, and I'm sure people out there have heard this before, but being in shape and being in actual ring shape are two different things. I've seen I mean, I've been around long enough. There's guys that have had stints in the NFL that have come in and they get put through the treatment of like, all the calisthenics and the blow up drills. And,
Yeah.
It takes a lot to be on for 5, 10, 15 minutes at a time where you're constantly moving.
Because, even playing football, they run a play.
Yeah, you run a play, and then you got a little bit of a break.
Yeah, a little bit of a break.
But with wrestling, you don't get that break.
Yeah, you don't get that.
You run your high spot, so to speak, and you get a rest hold, but you're still moving and maneuvering around doing that. And by the time you're back to your feet, you're still tired, and it's a constant wear down. So the cardio aspect of wrestling is very important to basically get down really quick, because without it, you're not going to last very long.
Well, you see, sometimes you can spot, even on the WWE or AEW, you can spot somebody that's got blown up.
I'll give you a good one. WrestleMania 28, that main event with Rock and Cena, they ran like maybe, I want to say it was like 2 or 3 sequences in the ring, and you could see the Rock visibly blown up and Cena kind of like carrying him through it.
Yeah.
Doing a singles match after, like, I don't care how much like practice you get like on a movie set or something like that, but doing a singles match in front of people in that Miami heat where it's like hot and humid, like you're gonna get blown up if you're not doing it on the regular. So
I know I don't as Captain Decapitate, I don't get involved a lot in the matches. All I do is run around and cause havoc outside.
But you see it.
But I tell you what, after a 10, 15 minute match, I'm winded.
Yeah, just 10, 15 minutes of doing the athletics, and then you got to yell and scream at fans.
Yell and got to put up with fans. Oh, I forgot about fans. They're on my list of people I don't like.
I know. No, but it's a good example. You're out there yelling and screaming, like breathing very heavy and running around the ring, and it's a lot to do if you're not properly trained to do it.
And the fact of being a week from being 74 years old, that doesn't help.
No, it doesn't help when it doesn't help when you're a couple months removed from 41 either. So, there's a reason I haven't done many matches in the last 10 or 15 years. I ain't about that life no more. Ain't about that life no more. But
so, got a question for you. In this area, booking shows and all, I know there's some competition out there. How do you maneuver that?
You have to pay attention to competition a little bit. Most of the competition's friendly around here. You get 1 or 2 groups that will, try to counter book you or, try to overbook you, like when you're doing stuff in certain towns. Hagerstown's very cutthroat right now. But most of the groups around here are pretty friendly to work with. I think I've only dealt with 1 or 2, and you just don't pay attention to them.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you just got to do what you do and do what you do well, and that's how you kind of maneuver around that. You're working in any entertainment field, you're going to have competition here and there.
Right.
And like you can't worry about it because there's plenty of food out there for everybody to eat, so to speak. And I want to see everybody eat. I don't want to see one person not make money. Like promoting wrestling is a hard thing to do. I've got groups down in West Virginia I'm friendly with. I've got groups in Pennsylvania I'm friendly with. It's you got to keep that camaraderie because eventually you're going to need help with something, and one of those other groups can step in and help you, and vice versa. Maybe they need help with something that I can help with. It's just nice to it's nice when you have those people to lean on. That's not always going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's nice that we, for the most part, we have a pretty good area for wrestling.
Are there still promoters out there that say, hey, if you work with me, you can't work for another promoter? Or
that's always that's always out there. It's not like you got 1 or 2 groups that do that around here, and the end of the day, I mean, we're independent contractors. We work when we're told.
Work when you,
we work when we can, and it's about getting as much work as possible.
I mean, I would think if a promoter would tell somebody that person should say, okay, you're going to book me 3 nights every weekend.
No, I don't know. I've had a promoter tell me that before, and I just stopped working for them.
Yeah.
I don't like getting involved in. I don't like getting involved in that. I will say, like, if I had a talent that came and was just like, hey, I can't work this talent or something like that, that's a whole different story. Like,
right.
You know, you don't want
Right.
to. Yeah, like if somebody's participating in that, like you just don't want to get your hands dipped into it.
Yeah.
It's not good for anybody.
It's not good for the talent.
It's not good for the promoter, and it's not good for the wrestler. It's not good for anybody.
Yeah, because like I said, if a promoter says you can only work with me, you can't work with anybody else.
Yeah.
Well, then book me 3 nights a weekend.
Yeah.
And then I'll listen to you.
Yeah, but it's just like you got to get your money where you get your money.
Yeah, you got to get.
There's certain situations where there's an exception to the rule. I mean, it's a case by case basis, and that's a little inside baseball. I don't want to get into that here, but for the most part, work where you can, get as much work as you possibly can. That's the best advice I can give a professional wrestler right now.
Because the exposure you get from this promotion, might help with your draw over here.
You
know, if it's in the same general vicinity, you know.
Yeah,
no, that's get the exposure out there.
It's absolutely right. Then, you don't really deal with that too much anymore. Like, I mean, there's 1 or 2 guys that'll pop up and, I can't work for you here, or I can't work for you there, and it's just, okay, well, that's fine. Like, we'll but yeah, for the most part, it's like everybody's.
But if you've got 20 guys that'll work for you anywhere, then he might be the 21st guy.
Yeah.
You know, he might not move up in the in the ranks.
It happens.
Yep.
Okay.
What
else you got, Jesse?
Karaoke.
That's a big thing this year. We started owning Main Event Karaoke. We started karaoke in February. That's been a really big thing for me this year, just as far as I haven't had a business grow like my karaoke business has grown.
Good.
We've gone from 1 booking a month to 20 bookings in the month of January of this month, 20 bookings, which is insane.
So this guy does karaoke 20 nights a month.
Yeah.
Voice of Hagerstown Flying Boxcars.
During the spring and the summer.
Promoter for professional wrestling.
And sometimes I sleep.
And he has a regular job.
Yeah, I'm still doing the day job, and
still doing the day job.
Every once in a while, Sundays I sleep.
When is it going to be enough money, Mike?
Oh, it's not even about I like keeping myself busy and involved, and I like the one thing I say to people is I like seeing people have a good time. So the more I can get out there and just provide good times and provide entertainment and just genuinely be something or be the person that helps people just get away from their worries, their job, just get away for an evening. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, so. I tell you, anybody out there that's not a professional wrestling fan, I know there's a lot of you. You need to go see local talent one time.
Yeah, I agree.
Because these guys are working for not a lot, and they put their stuff into it and put on a good show. And you go to a wrestling show, you're going to get 3 hours of entertainment.
Yeah, I say this to a lot of people. Whether you like wrestling or you don't, if you come to one of these local shows, you'll have a good time. I've seen so many people that were skeptics of wrestling or critics of wrestling come in, and literally that shuts off. I still remember to this day, I graduated with a guy who I remember wrote this article in our school paper about professional wrestling just being the worst form of entertainment in the world, and 10 years later, I see him bringing his kid. To the show, and he's getting into it with his kid, and it was like his father-son time with his kid. And I was like, you remember that article 10 years ago? I was just like, look at you now. Like you're here with us. Like you finally, like you understand.
I've been a wrestling fan since I was like 8, 9 years old.
Yeah. Let me ask you, what was the first wrestling match you remember seeing?
It was up here at the Armory.
All right.
God, I can't remember who was there. I would imagine Bruno Sammartino, Antonio Rocco.
Antonio Rocco?
Yeah. In fact, a quick story. Antonio Rocco was when I grew up, we were kind of poor, so I'd have to walk down to my grandfather's place, maybe just a quarter of a mile, on Saturday mornings to watch professional wrestling.
Yeah.
And it was on a little TV with a screen about that big,
All right.
one camera. Might have even been shot at the Hamburg Fieldhouse.
Yeah.
And my grandfather's favorite wrestler was Antonio Rocco, and I got to meet him. And another one of his favorites was the other Italian guy, Bruno's best friend, Dominic DiNucci.
There you go.
And I got to meet Dominic 2 times. Second time I got to meet him was like 3 days before he died.
Oh wow!
And
was that up in Hamburg?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were both there. Yeah, I remember.
And I wish I wouldn't have gone and met him, because it was a real decline from 2 years earlier.
Yeah.
And I would have rather, because I got to sit down and talk to him like this for half an hour, and then there he didn't even know if pictures were being taken.
Oh wow!
It was.
No, I remember when I was going up and doing some of the Pittsburgh shows with a few friends. I remember Dominic DiNucci would pop in from time to time to a bunch of the Pittsburgh area events, and it was always good to see him. Like, that's the weird thing about being in this area is there's so many professional wrestlers within a 3-hour radius that started their careers that ended up going to superstardom. Like you have DiNucci, Shane Douglas, Big John Studs from here.
Yeah.
LA Knight obviously is
was
from
Nikolai Volkov from
Baltimore.
From Baltimore when he was professional wrestler.
Yeah, so he wasn't built from Baltimore. He was built from obviously he's built from Russia, but he lived in the Baltimore area, and like you would see him a lot at shows. Like Nikolai was always somewhere.
He was a super nice guy.
Oh, absolutely.
I asked him one time, and I found out he was an opera singer.
Yeah.
And he wrestling just kind of took over, and I said so because he used to come out and sing the Russian national anthem. Remember? Yeah. And I asked him. I said, "Do you ever regret making that decision to go?" And he goes, "I should have stayed an opera singer."
Yeah. No, so your first match, you remember seeing Antonio Rocca.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I'm sure I can't remember, but man, it was just exciting to see those guys live.
Oh, absolutely.
It was down in the basement part of the old armory up here, down I guess in the gym part.
Yeah, I remember. Then this is a long time. The first wrestling match I can remember being at was when, and this is years ago when they were doing the stuff at the fairgrounds. I remember being at the one where Dusty Rhodes and Ted DiBiase headlined.
Oh yeah, I was there.
Yeah, I want to say this is '89, but I remember being at that. I remember being on the floor, like near the ring, because DiBiase was throwing out kind of like money or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Virgil.
Yeah, and I don't want to say Virgil was there, but the first match I remember seeing on TV was in this. It was some kind of battle royal. It was either the WrestleMania 2 or the WrestleMania 4 battle royal.
Oh.
But I remember seeing that on TV, and I remember my dad's like, "Oh, watch this! There's gonna be 20 of them in the ring," and I was mesmerized by it. And
I can remember the first WrestleMania.
Oh yeah.
We had to go. I went to the Maryland Theater.
I was too young for that one.
To watch it on screen.
Like, I might have been maybe 2 or 3 years old at 85.
Oh, yeah?
Like, yeah, I was too young for that one. But like, I remember when they were coming into town after that, for sure. Like, I remember being at 2 or 3 of them, specifically here in Hagerstown.
When they were at North High,
Yeah.
I was involved with the JC's ends, and we'd help set up and and help run the thing. And I can remember after one show, Arnold Skolin came up and said, "Hey, is there a place in town where we can go where we're not going to be bothered?"
Yeah.
At the time, I was hanging out at the Venice,
Oh.
and I said, "You go in there, I would suspect 99% of the people are not going to know who you are, because it was a
High-end establishment.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Venice back then, yeah.
yeah." And he came in, and I got to meet. Through that connection, I got to meet Andre the Giant. The Iron Sheik was super cool guy.
I've met Sheiky a couple of times.
Yeah, the only real butthole I can say that I met during that time was oh man, I was going to say Randy Savage, but that's not it. The guy jumped off the top rope.
Oh,
Snuka.
He's mean to you?
Yeah, he wasn't real friendly.
I mean, that was back in the day too. Like,
Yeah.
I met Snooker in his later years when he was pretty chill.
Well,
Pretty
they were still kayfabe was still
yeah.
in effect. I know one time I was talking to some friends and I were talking to the Iron Sheik, and Tony Atlas came out and give him a hard bump,
Yeah.
and they had words, and Atlas said, "If you want to meet me in the parking lot, come on out." And I asked the Sheik, I don't even know what his real name was, what was that all about? Because I knew they didn't wrestle that night. He goes, "That's from a couple weeks ago." He said, "Some people can't put the stuff behind them."
Yeah.
And then I've met Tony Atlas.
Yeah,
several
I had to drive
times.
Tony for last year. I had to drive Tony to the airport. I want to say it was either last year or the year before. But
I did a. In fact, that's how I got into professional wrestling. I did a movie called Wrestle Massacre, and I got to do scenes with Nikolai Volkov, Tony Atlas, the crazy guy with the stick. He wasn't WWE. He was
crazy guy with the stick.
yeah. Came out with the beers.
Oh, Sandman.
Sandman. Yeah.
Sandman. Yeah.
He's a trip.
Oh yeah.
He's a trip.
Yeah, with Sandman was supposed. Remember when Sandman was supposed to be on our first show?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, that weekend I was. You want to talk about having to really get in the promoter mode last minute. That was a crazy weekend. Yeah, I'm sure you remember.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's a good story to tell. Just so we had Sandman on the show, and Sandman's the headliner on the show. We had made a big deal about Sandman being there. Sandman had some personal issues, a personal matter to attend, and he was not going to be able to be there. We find this out a week before the show. So we've got 7 days to replace the headliner, and we did not think we were going to be able to do it. And keep in mind, this is our first event, so we're coming back. It's our first event. We're coming back off of COVID, and there's a rival promotion basically running a show to counter promote us that night. So there's a lot could go wrong. A lot could go wrong. So basically, I think I called everybody I knew. I called everybody I knew to pull a name, just to pull a name out of our ass to, just to satisfy the fans that were going to be there. We got really lucky, and we ended up getting Rhino from WWE. He was at TNA at the time, but we ended up getting Rhino. He came in, was a blast to work with the entire time.
Oh yeah, he's a super guy.
Yeah, just a blast to work with, and now the event obviously it was a success. We're still here 4 years later, so
4 years.
Yeah, it's been June will be 4 years.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, time flies.
Whether you're having fun or not, it doesn't. That still flies.
Yeah, that is one way to look at it. There's just a lot that's happened.
Oh yeah,
it's just like you don't think it's been that long, but there's been a lot that's happened. So
4 years.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't think it was that long.
Yeah. No, I remember we had just met a couple weeks before.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I remember we were both skeptical of each other. It was like, is this going to
That
work?
lasted for a while.
Yeah, we were both skeptical, and then all of a sudden, it was like that first show, you were like, okay. You come over to me, it's like, I was skeptical. We're good right now.
We got it.
And I was the same way. I was just like, I was skeptical too.
Yeah,
We're good
yeah.
now.
But I'm sure, I would bet, I don't know for sure, but being basically 74 years old, I got to be an exception in the business.
Well, yeah,
You know?
yeah. You don't see a lot of older folks like that.
Yeah.
Coming in on the independent level.
And I didn't get started till my late
Yeah.
60s.
Yeah, it's been a while.
But it's been fun. I don't live with a lot of regrets, Mike, but my one regret, I wish I'd have gotten into professional wrestling earlier.
Yeah.
Because I know my time is limited and also limited of what I can do.
I bet you're glad you did that movie. That ended up yeah. I mean, it's like it happened for a reason. So.
Oh, I tell you what, this whole acting career and professional wrestling, I can honestly say I don't know I ever even dreamed it.
Yeah.
I don't know because especially professional wrestling, I've never been athletic, so I never dreamed of being involved in professional wrestling.
No, but I mean, I mean, a lot of us do, but I mean, there's always, a lot of us are out there also just enjoying just being a fan of it, and then you get an opportunity to do it. I mean,
and you get into your 60s,
yeah,
you're like, that's never gonna happen.
Yeah, but I mean, it did. You get to live out a bucket list and a dream. It's like me this year with baseball. Like I never thought I would ever get a chance to do that, and then I did, and it was just.
Well, I know even with the heat we've had between us.
Yeah.
And I think in all honesty, I think it's comes from two creative people.
Oh yeah.
Butting heads.
No, we're both very creative, and we're both very stubborn and hard-headed. So when you get people like that butt heads.
But the one thing I have to say is when I found out they were looking for the announcer.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody else that was better suited for it than you, because I know your love of baseball, so you know baseball, and it's in your hometown, and you've got the voice.
Five other people have said this to me, and it was like when I went into that audition, it was only like 3 or 4 days out from the opening day. They still didn't have their announcer. When I went into that audition, I did not think I was getting the role. I thought it was like. I mean, it felt like a courtesy, and it was. I mean, all seriousness, it was a courtesy because we with me and Jay from Venue Media, we helped them get their podcast started and stuff, and I had just thrown it out there. Hey, let me try out. What's the worst that's going to happen? And I went in there, and there was some pretty tough competition. I know at least one of the people that tried out, and he was. Like I know the kind of voice that he has, and just I know he's done it before, and he was very good. So for me to get that role was a dream come true. I was really just happy to be there last year. It was
not only with the voice, but I know your background in baseball.
Oh well, yeah. I've always loved the game.
I mean, this guy knows every detail about baseball.
I wouldn't say like there's a lot to learn about baseball, but I know a lot. Like I'm
except this year the Yankees won the division. That's all I got to say about that. But then they won the division. Then they pulled in the Orioles.
Yeah. Then the Aaron Judge happened and just didn't show up that last game of the season, huh?
Yep. I used to be a real fan of teams, and then it's probably been 15, 20 years ago, I came to the realization, those millionaires don't even know who I am.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get upset because they lose playing a game.
I still get upset with my team. When the Orioles are bad, I still get upset, and it's like I'm still a passionate fan, but that's sort of leaving me now that I'm working in it. It's I kind of just, I want to go out and just enjoy the game every night, and just, I'm happy to be doing even the small part of what I am doing in the game. So it was a fun year last year. It was a learning experience. We got to do a lot of cool stuff, like the Star Wars night. I got to meet the Soup Nazi last year from Seinfeld.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we get to work with him a little bit. The Star Wars nights and just all the crazy stuff that goes on in minor league baseball, and just seeing baseball come back to Hagerstown.
Yeah, that's a cool stadium.
It is.
It's
one of the
stadium.
One of the nicest minor league parks I've ever been in. I know I'm a little biased, but Hagerstown's definitely have a gem downtown. So
yeah,
I'm very happy to be a small part of a bigger deal. So
I know I was a little skeptical of when they were even talking about putting the stadium downtown, or whether it was going to work. But the numbers showed this year it's going to work.
Yeah, you remember me? I was just like, man, I know this is going to work down here, and I doubled and tripled down when I was like, I know this is going to work. And seeing it actually happen, and seeing a lot of the detractors kind of come around to, well, it's a bad location, but it's actually pretty nice.
It is.
And then I was just like, oh no, this is pretty nice, and it's like seeing a lot of the detractors change their opinion, change their tune on it has been really awesome to see. Everybody wants to see Hagerstown do well.
I want to get to more games this year. I only made it, unfortunately, just to the wrestling night.
Yeah.
And I only live a mile from the stadium, and
you had fun wrestling night though.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was fun.
Yeah.
Hey, anytime you put me in front of the spotlight.
Yeah.
That was probably the most people I've performed in front of.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, same here.
Easily.
Same here. Yeah, I did one minor league baseball stadium when I first started. I'm talking a year and a half or 2 years in, and I want to say they had 3,000, and I think we had 3,800 at this one. So yeah, this is the biggest one I've done.
It's still a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
Still a lot of people. I always take the attitude though. You know what? I put on the same show if there's 10 people at the show, or there's 3,800 people at the show.
Yeah.
Because there's 10 people paid their good, hard-earned money to see me perform.
Absolutely.
And they shouldn't get a lesser show than what those 3,800 people did.
Exactly. That's a good mentality to have.
Go out there and do your best, and hope you make it back to the locker room.
Yeah.
Sometimes I haven't.
Oh, I know. Yeah, you run an Ellie the elephant, and things happen.
Yeah, I was gored into the corner, and
yeah, you had fun with that too.
I've been hit with chairs and kicked to the face. It was good to see Dorian win.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
He's one of the
good ones.
He's one of the better talents I've seen. Yeah. Working in, and did he get something with AEW or?
He did something recently, I think, and I haven't seen these guys for a while.
Yeah, I know.
I run into Warrior from time to time, and then I run into the other guy, Van Williams, from time to time. Both of them are really, really extremely good talents. I don't see him as much as I used to for obvious reasons that we won't get said, that we won't discuss here. But
same here.
But it's always nice to see people that you've seen come up do well. Doring's one, Chris Slade, as they call him, is one of them. Van Williams is another one. It's always good to see him do well. So
Van always amazes me. He's such a super nice guy.
Until he gets in front of the
front of the camera, I've told him I don't know how many times. I wish I had the gonads to try to pull some of the stuff he does with the crowd, because he gets. I've seen him get guys in the crowd riled up where I'm thinking there's going to be a fight.
Oh yeah,
there's going to be a fight.
I've seen it happen. That right there is an old school heel.
Yeah,
old school heel.
Oh, and he.
We have a couple of those too. Dog Nation comes to mind. Two really good talents.
Well, and you got the other, what's the, Dog Nation has been, how many different places?
Oh, they've been all over the world this year.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing. I'm putting over Voltage Wrestling earlier, and our talents and stuff. But the one thing about the local guys and like the regional guys that haven't been on TV yet, a lot of them you've probably seen on AEW TV or WWE television. Danny Moe has done some work with WWE on Monday Night Raw recently. As recent as like last year.
Oh, okay.
In addition to doing that thing on Mount Everest, where like she wrestled on, she's the only person. She's the first woman to wrestling match on Mount Everest, which probably the first person to wrestling match.
Yeah,
on Mount Everest.
probably. I wonder why they built it as the first women's match.
Well, I mean, it's the first women's match, but it's the first person probably to wrestle on Mount Everest.
I'm surprised she hasn't got a bump out of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to happen. It's just I say this like when it comes to talent, the cream always rises to the top.
Yeah.
So you're gonna eventually she'll get her shot. Like we've had Facade on AEW television within the last 2 years. Nice and Smooth.
Yeah, Nice and Smooth.
They just wrestled for Ring of Honor.
Did they?
On their television? I believe they've been on Dynamite recently as well. Alan Clayball has done some stuff with WWE, so it's
has he?
And now he's traveling all over the world, the countries like he's been to Korea, Chile, like he's been all over the place with his partner Sage, and they're killing it.
Oh yeah.
So basically, when you're coming out, you're not just seeing some local yokels that are doing this, just on the weekends. You're seeing guys that are traveling the world doing what they do.
Yeah.
We have a really deep talent pool right now. There's so many guys I'm not mentioning, and it's.
And we love y'all. Everybody you didn't mention, we love y'all.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm so I say this. I'm so thankful for the talent that we do have this year, and just how dedicated they've been to us, and just how hard they've worked. There's guys like Cooper Housley's another guy. He's doing the Power Slap pay-per-views all the time now. Like we've got people that are doing stuff in the industry.
Yeah.
And even Beastman, and he's been in Japan and all over the place.
He's in Japan right now.
Yeah.
He left the other day. Hopefully he gets back.
Hopefully he gets back. Yep, he gets back safely. We'll see him in 10 days. If you haven't seen that guy.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Beastman, come out and see him. I don't think he's quite as big as what he was. He's been saying he's lost.
He's lost some weight, but he's still
a big guy.
I can't stress to you, I've never seen a guy that big move. Way that dude, think of any NFL athlete, any NBA athlete, any athlete in general. I can guarantee you haven't seen an athlete move through the ring like Beastman. And I'll put from the smallest guy, the most agile guy. This guy's got the agility of a 200-pound guy.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, it's I hate to say it, but it's the special attraction of wrestling. That is, I've never seen somebody that epitomized that like Beastman does, and it'd be good to see him again.
Yeah, it will be. I'm glad I'm able to bring him back. I'm glad I've been allowed to bring him back. He just ran through the competition so bad. Mike said we can't have this. We got to have some.
We had to have some parity, as they say.
And then he lost to the Neon guy, right?
Well, he lost to Mr. Grimm, and then Mr. Grimm.
Oh, Mr. Grimm, and then okay.
And Mr. Grimm's going to be coming back here soon too.
Is he?
Yeah. Have you heard about him?
We'll whip his butt again too.
Have you heard about
Mr. Grimm?
Have you heard about him? He's doing stuff with the NWA now. So,
is he?
Yeah, so he's on NWA's televion now.
Wow.
And,
wow.
It's good to see him get a break because he's been working hard for a couple of years. So
yeah, he's a hard worker.
Yeah,
he's a hard worker. But yeah, they lot of talent here. Not quite as good as Beastman is, but they give him some competition. They give him a little bit of competition.
I'll let you have that one.
Okay. It's like Beastman here, rest of the talent and Voltage here.
Wow.
And if you guys don't like it, let me know in the locker room next time we're in the locker room. You know, one thing I have to mention, Mike, before we close out here. Like I said, I've never been athletic, so I've never been involved in a lot of sports and team sports.
Yeah.
You would think that the locker room because let's put it out there, if you don't have an ego,
Yeah.
you're not involved in professional wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have some kind of chip on your shoulder. You got to have a chip on your shoulder.
Yeah. And you would think a locker room filled with 20, 25 guys
Yeah.
with this big of ego, you would think there'd be a lot of, but no, everybody is.
I think it's the one thing that differentiates us from like other athletic forms of entertainment, for the most part. Because you do run into some people that don't.
Yeah, a couple people.
For the most part, you see a lot of people around that just genuinely want to see everybody do well. Everybody's trying to bring somebody up, and like it's a great thing about professional wrestling. It's the camaraderie, the teamwork.
Well, and it's also that when those guys are in there wrestling, part of their job is to make sure the other guy doesn't get seriously hurt.
Well, yeah, no.
So there's a lot of respect there when they're in.
I'll say this: it is the most non-team sport that there is. I mean, obviously you have your individual accolades that you want to look out for, but when you get in a ring with somebody, it's a team effort to make that, from the wrestlers to the referee. Like everything's got to be right to make that flow properly.
And I've told people for years, professional wrestling is one of the last things that we have where you know who's good and who's bad.
Yeah.
We don't know that in politics. We don't know that in real life. We don't know that among friends. In professional wrestling, we make it our goal. When we walk out there, you know who to cheer for and who to hate.
That is true.
You know?
I also say professional wrestling is like the last form of theater in the round.
Oh, it is.
The last form of theater in the round in the world. The theater in the round in the squared circle.
The squared circle, yeah.
As a cameraman saying.
But that's what I tell people too is these guys, they get one take.
Yep. Surrounded
by this is where, and I just did theater with Jim last year. I can tell you that's frightening.
I'm sure it is.
On stage by yourself?
No, I can tell you this right now. Like the stuff in we have a friend, we have a mutual friend that does community theater, and I could never do what he does. I could never. I would be.
I wanted to try it because I still don't know if I'm a good actor or not.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work that out.
Well, I mean,
scariest thing I've ever done.
I heard good reviews. I'll just say that. There wasn't anybody. There wasn't anybody like, oh, God.
We don't want that guy back again.
Yeah, there wasn't anybody saying that. I heard good reviews, and no, I mean that says a lot. Because I mean I'm as confident as I've ever been right now in 2024. But I don't think I would have the confidence to get up on stage in front of people. I feel like the wrestling ring is where I'm safe, where I can kind of.
Or baseball announcing, or
I mean, it's something I'm comfortable with. I haven't stepped out of that comfort zone yet.
Oh, believe me, that was about the most uncomfortable thing I ever did.
Yeah.
But I wanted to. I did it to prove it to myself that I could do it.
Yeah.
And
there's no improv there either.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you don't have that interaction. You can't bounce off the audience. You're
basically. My character, I played 3 different characters.
Yeah.
Had 9 monologues.
Oh, wow.
And when you're out there in a monologue on stage, it's just you. There's no parachute anywhere. And I had, it must have been Tuesday night. Our first show was Friday night. Tuesday night we had a dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
I froze on stage.
Oh no.
Yeah, on Tuesday night. 3 days before the end.
I bet you when you got up there you hit all your marks though.
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did great on Friday night. On Saturday night they told us that the playwright was in the audience. And, that puts an extra pressure on it.
Yeah, it does.
And I missed one section of one of the monologues. But I talked to the playwright after the play was over. I said, do you follow along? And he goes, I wrote this like 3 years ago. I don't know if you missed something or not. And I'm like, you could have told me that beforehand. You could have told me that. The pressure would have been off. But but
it's good when the pressure's on, though. It is.
It's a good feeling to
makes you rise to the occasion.
Yeah, it's a good feeling to be pressured and then do it.
Yeah.
But man, when you freeze on stage 3 days before the first show, I went home and literally beat myself up. You freaking dumbass! Come on, you can freaking do this.
Doing the scene to Leonardo DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where he's like,
God damn, come on, you can do this. And man, that Wednesday and Thursday and Friday was not a pleasant time.
Yeah, but after it was over, I'm sure
after it was over,
it was a good feeling.
And and people said I did good, which is good.
Yeah,
I didn't.
I've heard from several people that you did a good job. So,
well, I thank those people.
Yeah,
I did an average job.
I did an average. It was average.
And I don't know if I ever do it again. I keep telling Jim when the cycle comes around. In fact, it should be right after the first of the year. They have rehearsals or auditions again. I'm gonna have to see the script. Because I took this on and I opened it up and, like I said, played 3 different characters and 9 monologues.
Yeah.
I'd have walked away from it. But I committed to it and I said, okay, I'll do it. But I want to know something about the play. I don't want to get into a mess like that again.
Makes sense.
But I think we've talked about everything, haven't we?
Yeah, I think we've gone over everything that we have. We came to talk about. I want to thank you for having me on.
No problem.
If I can give another quick shout out, Voltage Wrestling once again, January 10th, Vanish Hall, Boonesboro, Maryland. We hope to see each and every one of you out. If you can make it out, please come out. Please support us, and we look forward to seeing you. There'll be great food, great wrestling matches. WWE's Ricardo Rodriguez, former announcer for Alberto Del Rio, will be there. Captain Decapitate, Captain Decapitate is going to be there with Beastman, apparently.
Beastman.
Yes, Beastman is a sight to see. If you have not seen him, you definitely want to come out. Once again, January 10th, Vanish Hall, Boonesboro, Maryland. Get your tickets, voltagewrestling.com.
That was the promoters. That was the promoter's voice right there. You heard that?
That's the smooth.
So run through it one more time.
Voltage Wrestling, Vanish Hall, Boonesboro, Maryland. Be there. Bell time is 8 p.m. Get your tickets at www.voltagewrestling.com. January 10th.
And one more time. You got to do everything in 3s.
January 10th. Once again. Vanish Hall, Boonesboro, Maryland. If you don't got your tickets, get them at voltagewrestling.com. Great seats still remain, but they are going fast. Get there. You get yourself a great meal at Vanish Hall. Enjoy some live wrestling action. Bring your signs. You're going to be on TV.
Bring
your. We usually tape these for TV.
That's right. There you go.
So there you go.
And remember, when you order your tickets, put Captain in there and you get 20% off.
Yes, if you use the code Captain, 20% off.
20%
all
off.
Ticket orders. A great value.
There you did it 3 times in a row.
3 times in a row we did.
Okay.
Knocked it out of the park.
Okay. But thanks for joining me. You know what? You're the first wrestling-related person I had on my podcast.
Really?
In a year.
I appreciate that.
And I've been wanting to do it, and and this comes up, and
yeah, I appreciate that, man. I really do.
January 10th, next Friday night.
Next Friday night.
Vanish Hall.
Let's be there. It's gonna be fun.
What else can I say? Just be there. You don't have anything else to do on that Friday night, I guarantee you.
Oh, now you're overselling it. Now you're overselling it. Yeah.
But be there. And thanks for joining us for this edition of Jesse Green Live. And I'll see you next Wednesday morning at 5:36 for Jesse Green Live in between. And then in 2 weeks, I'll see you for the next edition of Jesse Green Live. And last but not least, have a fantastic 2025.
Absolutely.
Have
make it the year to remember.
Yeah, don't be giving up on your what do they call it?
Don't be giving up on your hopes and dreams.
Yeah, and your what's the things you make
your resolutions.
Your resolutions. I don't want any of you all coming back here to the next show and already screwed up your New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
At least make it through January. Come on, it's not that hard. I'll see you next week.